And then you can message me.
Yeah.
But I think one of you will let you get it. Not okay for me. It doesn't matter. You can carry it over.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and my dear friends. Welcome to Bangalore Toastmasters Club and meeting number 1341 specifically. Hope you all have had a good day today. Yes. First of all, thank you for taking time off your busy schedules and making it a point to attend this week's meeting. Today's meeting is a special one. Along with the normal routine, we have something called as Moments of Truth, where we will be judging our own club to see where we can improve and what went well and what could be improved. That will also be part of today's meeting. Moving on to the theme for today's meeting. As it says, knowledge begins with experience. Now you can speak for or against this topic as well. Giving my own example, whenever I take a class, usually my audience age limit is usually 40 plus, 40-50 plus. When I go on stage, the first thing they do is look at me and stare. What will this fellow do? What class can he take? He's so young. Does he have the knowledge to take class? For us, the income tax officials, that officials, this officers, does he have the capability to take class? So here, can I say, knowledge is important, but without experience, we can share the knowledge. Can we say that? Can we say that?
Yeah.
On the contrary, can we also say, through all our years of experience, we would gain some knowledge, we would learn a lot of stuff, we would learn a lot of new things. Using these things which we learn every year or every day, we can inculcate those experiences to others and make them also aware about the points in hand. So it goes either ways. We need not say that experience is compulsorily required for us to have the knowledge, or we can't say that with knowledge comes experience specifically. So it goes either way. So it's up to us as to how well we can utilize our knowledge to share it with others. So we have 3 rules in this club to be followed. The first rule is that avoid walking around when a speaker is on stage. It distracts the speaker. There's a flow of thought, and when there are people walking around, it distracts the flow of thought of the speaker. Second point, please take out your phones and keep it in silent mode, or please switch it off. I'll give you 10 seconds to do so. Let there not be any songs or ringtones being played when the speaker is speaking, so please put your phone in silent or please switch it off. The third rule is that avoid talking about sex, politics or religion. Let us be nice with each other. Moving on to the next person to come on stage, the CEO passed away is what I remember from his speech, and it has made a memory in my mark in my head. That was my second speech in this club, which was held at HM Studios, meeting number 1316. That is how I know the speaker, a very articulate speaker, and thanks to him, we have got a lot of speech crafters joined in this particular term. It's a team effort, but he has a very good hand in that. So let us give him a big round of applause and welcome our of the club, the presiding officer for today, Toastmaster Abhiram.
Namaskara BTMC.
Namaskara.
For the Toastmasters and dear guests, let us call to order meeting number 1342 of the Bangalore Toastmasters Club. It's a good problem to have. We have so many meetings that we kind of get confused with our number. So, yes. The minutes of the last meeting were shared on WhatsApp and email by our secretary Toastmaster Bruno. And there was one amendment by Toastmaster Nagesh, and the same has been included in the minutes. If there are no further amendments, can we pass the minutes of meeting 1341?
Yes.
Okay. The minutes of the last meeting stands passed. May I know how many guests we have? Can you please raise your hands? Okay, that's fantastic. How many of you have come here for the very first time? Okay, could one of you please stand up and share with us what brought you to this club?
My name is Sanjay. Primarily, I came across Toastmaster basically when I was looking for someone who can correct my public speaking skills. Myself, I have been in sales for 22 years, but still I would like to restructure my public speaking skills. So I was going around meeting some people. They suggested this club is a very good club where you can join and you can get a good experience of your structuring your public speaking skills. That's the reason I'm here.
Sir, your good name?
Sanjay.
Yeah, Mr. Sanjay, I'm sure you will have a lot of takeaways from this meeting. Thank you so much, and please be seated. And my dear guests, for me, the most astonishing thing about Bangalore Toastmasters is the fact that no matter what, we meet here every Friday at 6:30 p.m., whether it's rainy or sunny, or whether it's a festival or a carnival. We are always present here every Friday at 6:30 p.m. Please feel free to join us as guests in our meetings. And if you have any questions, please reach out to one of the committee members. May I ask the committee members to please rise for a minute? That's okay, ma'am. Shashank, Toastmaster Surekha, Bruno, and myself, Abhinav. Please feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions, and we'll be more than happy to help you. Right? So, dear members, how do we welcome our guests? Last Sunday, I visited a house construction site. A mason and his wife were busy with some concrete slab. They were building a concrete slab. On one side, the mason was mixing concrete continuously with all his machinery and then pouring it into a bucket so that his wife on the other side could come, pick it up, and then travel certain distance and then pour it into that concrete slab. And then again the wife would come back with the empty bucket, fill it up with the concrete, and then go back. This cycle was going on and on and on for a few minutes. The couple had a 2-year-old child who was sitting a little far away from the place, and he was all alone, enjoying his own life happily, and he was playing with his own toys. Sand, stone, and cement were his toys. After some time, the lady got busy with some small talk with her co-workers and totally forgot what she was doing. The poor husband was shouting at her, "Hey, come and collect all this concrete." The machine was overflowing with concrete, but there was no response at all from her. I was observing all of this from a distance, and out of nowhere, the small kid who was playing with his toys rushed towards his mother, picked up the empty bucket, which was probably bigger than his size, and then ran towards his dad and gave it to him. Ladies and gentlemen, how did the child learn what to do in that situation? Did anybody teach him? The child could not even speak properly, forget about reading and writing. But he still addressed a problem in an unconventional situation like that. And it was the experience that taught the child what to do. Ladies and gentlemen, we all learn from experience. Human beings are wired to learn from experience. And Toastmasters is an excellent example of how we can evolve and become better public speakers. Because you cannot become a better public speaker just by looking at someone, looking at videos or watching something else on YouTube. You need to come here on stage and experience the audience. Only then will you become better public speakers. To take the meeting forward, it is my pleasure to introduce a fantastic person, a fabulous gentleman. And after having interacted with him for the last 2 years, I can say that he's one of the most kind-hearted, helpful, supportive, and encouraging personalities that you would ever come across. When I joined the club, he was the president. And after I gave my icebreaker speech, I received a text message from him saying, "Hey Abhinava, I really loved your speech, it was fantastic. You know, you keep rocking, man. You should take part in ISC. I said, "What is ISC? Hey, it's International Speech Contest. You have 3 months to complete your next 6 speeches. Start preparing now." And I did take his advice and started preparing, and then went on to participate in ISC. If not for that text message, if not for the push and encouragement that this man gave me, I would have missed out on an amazing journey in my life. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the charming, flamboyant, Kodagina Veera, Toastmaster Ayappa Konachandra.
Good evening, Toastmasters and my dear guests.
Good evening.
Good evening. Knowledge is required to get a job, right? Yes, no? Without knowledge, you don't get a job. If you have the job, you have experience. It's quite confusing. You know, knowledge begins with experience. It's like, you know, which comes first, chicken or egg? Whenever VPA gave this topic to me, I was fully confused what to do. Like, I was scratching my head like anything. And believe it or not, I lost my complete hair the last 1 week. Then I started speaking to my friends to find out, you know, what's happening. I should share some experience, right? Connecting with the team. Then I asked, called me one of my friends. His name is Sudhakar. Sudhakar, you know, this is, the statement. Knowledge begins with experience. You have any idea? Hey, Ayappa, I have 20 years of experience in IT industry. I'm into testing. You know what? I have zero knowledge in testing. But you ask me about real estate, I know. You ask me about share trading, I know. But not about my core experience. Again, confused. Then I spoke to the Toastmaster Kamala sitting there. Don't worry, Kamala is not there. Kamala, you've been married for last 30 years. So definitely you would have had a wonderful experience. Kamala said, "Yes, Ayappa, it was a fabulous experience. Really? I would like to know. What is that?" She said, "With that experience, I understood whom I can marry my daughter to." Right? So I thought again confusion. Lot of confusion all over. With that confusion, the Toastmasters movement also formed. In the year 1924, for those who are the members of this club, those who know about Toastmasters, it formed in the year 1924 by Toastmaster Robinson D'Souza in Bangalore. Oh, I'm really confused again, sorry. It was formed in the year 1924 by Ralph C. Smedley. Okay, and it evolved over the period of time. We have around 5 lakh plus any numbers. I think Sachin would be the right person because he recently joined.
149.
Huh?
149 plus.
No. Listening again. How many members?
3 lakhs.
Yeah, roughly around 5 lakhs. Let's put it the higher end, right? Yeah, 5 lakhs members, and it's spread across around you're right, Nazleen, 149 countries around the globe. Right?
200 countries.
Huh?
200 countries.
It's okay, plus minus.
On the higher end.
Yeah, okay.
There are only 198 countries. He's gone 2 more than that.
Excellent, Dr.
Confused.
Okay, so this particular club is formed in the year 1970. Of course, our very own founder Robinson D'Souza and his team, and we celebrated 26 years of silver jubilee. 25 years. 25 years this year, and we had a great time. Okay. Now I am to take to explain the different segments of the meeting. I'm really tired now because there's a lot of confusion going on, right? Let me call upon. I'll take my phone. Phone is here. Okay. Alexa, could you please explain the different segments of the meeting, please?
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and esteemed guests,
Oh,
a
that is
typical
very
Toastmasters meeting has 3 sessions. But today we have 5. The first is a prepared speech session where a Toastmaster, with the help of project guidelines, mentor and evaluator, prepares a script, practices, rehearses frequently and finally presents in this session. After 5 minutes of networking break, we have the second session that is known as table topic session. Here, the topic master calls out a topic, then calls a member or a guest, and speaker has to think on his feet and speak for 1 or 2 minutes. Today, we have a special meeting. It's called, we have added a third session as Moments of Truth. Here we have an opportunity to create a positive impression of our club's quality and service, recognize and deal with situations critical to club success. And my dear members and guests, the fourth session is very important session. It's called as General Evaluation Session, where a punctilious Toastmaster will highlight how each and every role taker have performed in their roles and helps them to improve by giving them commendations and recommendations. Last but not the least, we have 5th session 2, where we have delicious snacks from our ever-loving Toastmaster Sudhekar ma'am. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Alexa, for that wonderful data. Let's give Alexa a big round of applause. Yes. Play this role of general evaluator. We have a seasoned Toastmaster amongst us. He's a one person I always look up to when I look for suggestions. He's a kind of punctilious person. He's very meticulous in whatever he does, and a very disciplined. I always remember my grandfather. Right, he was a colonel in the army, and not the other way around. He's a colonel in the army, very handsome person, around 6'3", 6'4" height, okay, and fantastic guy. And he was the past president of a club, and whatever the suggestion, he may find it very blunt, rude, but whatever the idea he gave, it is kind of, everybody can look up to. And yes. He has been a Toastmaster for the last 7 years, and as his name suggests, like he wins by intelligence, right? I can put it another way around. He can call it as Chanakya for club, right? So please put your hands together to welcome the G of today's meeting, Toastmaster Vivek Vijayan. To support his team, we have the timer for today, Toastmaster Sureka. Could you please read out your roles and responsibilities?
My job is to thunder, but only if everyone else blunders. So please cross your time limits so that I can satisfy my ego. All right? Everybody, please keep on to your timelines. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sureka. Next, we have our Toastmaster Nazneen Begum. Could you please read out your roles and responsibilities?
Good evening to one and all. My role as the accounter is to note down the CRPF words. C stands for clutch words, like, so, etc. R, repetitive words. P, pauses, long pauses. F, fillers. I, you, no, etc. At the end of the meeting, I will be back on the stage to present my report to you, the general evaluator. I request to one and all to be conspicuous and not blatant. Thank you, and over to you, general evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nazneen. Primarily, we have Toastmaster Sachin.
My role is to recognize good vocabulary and also I'll go through the rules of grammar, what you guys use. So be careful. Word of the day is punctilious, which is punctilious, which is showing great attention to detail or correct behavior.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sachin. Let's give Toastmaster Sachin a good round of applause. Let's begin the first segment of our meeting today, and it's a prepared speech. And first evaluator is Distinguished Toastmaster Rajzi Melwani. Could you please read out the roles in the guidelines of today's speech, please?
You can ask somebody to read it on my behalf.
Yes.
So the guidelines of the speech is to give his first speech and take the feedback and apply it to the second speech.
Thank you.
Time to sessions.
Thank you, Toastmaster Priyanka. First speaker of this evening is working in a company called Telbo as a program manager, leading a team of software professionals. He is mainly into apps and development. He is attending Project L1, Option 3, Introduction to Body Language only, from the pathway Dynamic Leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome on stage the first speaker of this evening, Toastmaster Vishwanath. Toastmaster Vishwanath is titled Action Expresses Priority. Toastmaster Vishwanath. All the best.
There is never enough time to do everything, but there is always enough time to do the most important thing. Dear fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests, back in the year 2016, currently where I am working for Trelleborg, which is a polymer engineering group, so they expanded its digital platforms. So as Mr. Toastmaster Ayappa mentioned, more into the apps development, they actually went through the different excellence programs which they wanted to bring it into the different business sectors, which could be the sales excellence program, the marketing excellence program, and a people excellence program. So internally management decided, and they made a core team of the group, and they involved me into lead the IT part of the initiative. So back in the year 2016, I think we were able to engage more projects and lead a team of more than 15 members and executed the initiatives. As we move forward in the mid 2017, we were occupied with more work. So there was always a challenge to meet the task that needs to be completed. So I struggled to get going, and the responsibilities and the tasks were always delayed. So because of this, we were never able to do all the important tasks, and at the same time, we were far behind in meeting the timelines. So what was the reason in meeting these challenges? So when we looked at and brainstormed, we were actually more than putting the effort on the key responsibility areas, which is on the project execution. We were also involved in other initiatives like the project discussions, proposal discussions with business, and the feasibility requirement which we need to complete it, the proposal submissions, the product and project initiation, the financials, etc. So I still remember one of the conversations with my boss, and he looked into my eyes and said, there is a lacuna in the way you are engaging, or the way you are leading the engagements. And he asked me to completely revisit all the priorities and also the internal team allocation. So we as a team brainstormed and looked at the different aspects of it, what we could do better. So there were two techniques which I would like to share, or the methods which we followed. Of course, there could be a number of ways to mitigate this and move forward. But what we looked at are two important techniques, or ABCDE method, which everyone can even follow it in the way, if there are a list of tasks or a list of priority that needs to be looked at, everything cannot be done at one time. So segregating the task in making a set of items, A as a must do, B is something that should do, and C are the list of tasks that nice to do, and D is something that can be delegated to other person if it is not a priority for the individual, and E is something that can be completely eliminated. And another important rule is the principle which we followed is the Pareto principle. I'm sure most of the IT sector people who are in this gathering might be aware, which is more towards the 80-20 rule. So what it talks about of 80-20 rule is that 20% of the effort, where it is an important one you spend, which are kind of a vital few, right, compared to the least important 80%, which could be trivial many, where it might lead to a result, but it may not be as astonishing. So what we did is we looked at all those and applied these techniques, and over the years we see that there is a sea chart through in terms of the what we have achieved so far and delivered the engagements over a period of last 4 to 5 years, I would say. So we also managed to submit a kind of a feedback to management. So we looked at all the metrics for the year 2017 and 18, and we gave a feedback in 2019 in delivering what kind of projects and in terms of what business expectation is. So we came up with some kind of a relatively a factor called a BMW technique, a BMW effect, which because it was looked at 3 important stakeholders. Business is one, which is we all know. The management also is very critical because they are the backbone, they are the supporting team actually in order for us to perform better, where we need more resources. And thirdly, what kind of work package we are delivering. Are we really doing the work, delivering as a part of the quality? So with this BMW technique, we are able to achieve and we are able to progress further. In a research that is being done recently in the men and women, where they are being promoted and being paid more faster, the quality of action orientation steps out as a major behavior and an important item where they focus on. To conclude, the key to success is an action that expresses the priorities. The faster we learn and apply them, the faster we would move ahead towards our profession. Guaranteed. Thank you.
Let's give Toastmaster Vishwanath a good round of applause. If you want any job opportunities, you can always approach after the break. During the break, there are a lot of opportunities available in the Vishwanath's company. Before I introduce the next speaker, I would like his evaluator, Toastmaster Vijay Vasudev Kalkundri to read out the project guidelines.
Good evening, everyone. The next speaker is attempting level 3 project 1 from presentation mastery. The objectives of this speech are to present. Purpose of this project is for the members to understand the types of persuasive speech at a club meeting. Time of please note the speech length is 5 to 7 minutes.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vijay. This Toastmaster has been as a Toastmaster since year 2020, and his likes is to explore historical places, and is a foodie, and would like to try different variety of masala dosa in different hotels. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome on stage Toastmaster Raghavendra. Toastmaster Raghavendra with his speech title Senses to Common Sense. Toastmaster Raghavendra. Thank you. All the best.
Good evening, Toastmasters and dear guests.
Good evening.
Year 1986 is one of the most memorable years of my life. We relocated as a family to the city of dreams, Bangalore. My father, Sampath Kumar, was a banking official and he got transferred to Bangalore from Gulbarga. I hear from him, his seniors persuaded him to move to this city, that mentioning this will change our lives. True to this statement, the city changed our life for better. During the initial years of my schooling in Bangalore, I struggled with the syllabus. I was a B grader throughout. And then an angel, the teacher, Usha Miss, came along, transformed my life. I started inching closer to becoming an A grader. Nothing exceptional, it is 60 to 70%. That was first class then. My mother, Saroja, whenever she used to see my marks, her eyes used to sparkle. And I had a typical Indian upbringing where the parent used to be very strict. We had to listen to each word to the dot. Listen. And I attribute all what I have achieved to my upbringing. During my college days, I was inspired by one Mr. Murthy sir, the only engineer in my street and a close friend's father. I used to accompany him to his factory, watch him do different things. I was amazed. I used to think engineers build this world. Then I made up my mind to become an engineer. An average student during 90s, Bangalore being an educational hub, it was easy to get an admission into a decent college. Finally, I became an engineer and an IT guy. Fast forward to this time, I'm a parent of 10th grader, my son Parichay. Myself and my wife, Sheetal, we are slightly on a jittery path now, thinking about what is in store for my son. Looking at all the results which were recently announced for CBSE 10th, 12th, all the glories of the students claimed by the institutes, where are we headed? We are all confused. So finally, I, as the theme of today's meeting goes, I applied my experience, upbringing experience, to upbring my son. He was a very strict father. Initially it worked like a wonder. Of late, it has been backfired. My son doesn't listen to me at all. And my wife was also critical about this. And she has been critical about everything else as well. But okay, that actually, I had to think about it, and I started interacting with the parents, the experienced parents. They were telling me that I have to be more friendlier, engage with my son, have a common interest, and see the transformation. I did following 3 things which helped me understand my son better. 1, I started listening to him throughout. I'm from a generation which has listened to my parents and to my kids. Nothing to say. So I started listening to him throughout. It was a casual conversation which eventually turned into a meaningful ones, the ones which I was looking forward to. What were his aspirations? What were his fears? What were his concerns? All that I could understand and maybe plan better. Then I wanted to engage with him more. Then I started playing a sport of his interest, badminton. I used to accompany him, go sit, be his competitor, maybe lose, or I used to lose anyways. Then I learned, he started opening up. He started saying many things. I think that's when, more than being a father, you're a friend and your family time is not in front of the television. It's rather something which you both like. I started enjoying that time with my son. And in the process, my objective was also achieved. So dear friends, I want to sum up my experience here into 3 things. The typical Indian learning method or getting something done, done, doesn't work with our kids. It has a boomerang effect. You have to be more friendlier, wait for them to work your way, eventually it will turn out okay. Then engage with them, be it an indoor sports or an outdoor sports, play with them, spend time, wait for it to happen rather than your way or highway. It basically will come through at one point in time. And finally, trust them and let go. The nature has different ways to teach us lesson, like a bird which pushes its younger one outside the nest to make it more stronger so that it starts and looks out for the food on its own. So we probably have to let our kids do their decision. You help them with that. Probably something will work out well for them. I want to sum up my speech with the following quote from Matthew Jacobson. The child who believes in himself had his parent who believed him first. Over to you, dear.
Thank you, Toastmaster Raghavendra. Let's once again give a good applause to Toastmaster Raghavendra. Before I introduce the third speaker of this evening, I request his evaluated Toastmaster Alok Simha to read out the project guideline, please.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Good evening, everyone. The purpose of the speech is to learn or review basic methods of writing a speech with a well-defined purpose and present a well-organized speech on any topic. Back to Toastmaster and all of you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Alok. This speaker is working at SAP as a function analyst. He loves reading books and news, especially on financial markets. And of course, he is the modern Sadhguru here. He is a yoga enthusiast, yoga specialist. He is attending the project Writing a Speech with Purpose from the Pathway Dynamic Leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome on stage the third speaker of this evening, Toastmaster Ghanshyam. Toastmaster Ghanshyam with speech title Hometown with Love. Ghanshyam, all the best.
How many of you all have come to Bangalore from different cities? Was it easy moving to Bangalore?
Yes.
Well, it was not easy for me. I still remember the very first time I had to pack my bags to move to a different place. My mom asked me, Ghanshyam, would you be able to manage everything? You have to cook for yourself, you have to wash your own clothes. Mom had tears in her eyes while sending me, but my brother and sister really pushed me. No, Ghanshyam, you should go. And here I am today, exploring new places and culture. I indeed used to feel lonely because of the homesickness, and you all know how hostel foods are. And if in case I would have got a video call from them, it was very difficult to hide my tears. From there, I had the language barrier when I moved to Bangalore. Neither Kannada nor English made any sense to me. And my seniors really helped me through this. And that push is I am here. And I believe in my younger days, I used to come out of my school, I used to take my shirt out and used to swing it around me and used to throw it in corner. And my mom used to take it around to wash it. From there to where I am today, washing my own clothes, making food for myself, and ordering groceries. Moving to a new place might expose you to culture that's as different and unfamiliar as that of a different country altogether. You could choose to see it as a downside, or you could choose to take it as a positive. Positive first. You can really push yourself. What I mean is, you are really independent here. Nobody is going to question you what and how you have to do. You have to work according to your schedule. They have done their job, they have sent you here. We have the liability, we don't even have any liability. We can work according to our schedule and we can take this chance to build our cultural resume. Positive second. You can discover yourself. What I mean is, I believe my school days, the initial school days, my sister, she used to scold me, Ghanshyam, go and study. From there, I really hated touching books. And here I am today. I try to exclude everything on weekend so I could give good amount of study hours. From there to today here, I love this process. I started enjoying it, I started reading it, and trust me, it makes me very happy. Positive third, once you move out of your hometown, you get a reality check. What I mean is, people are really smart here. And if I go to my hometown, and if I speak in few English words in front of them, I might look cool in front of them. But the reality hits once you move out of your hometown. And then you get the checks. Oh, I was at the wrong place till now. And those checks makes you stronger. The most important part of relocating is the exposure and experience you get. You come out of your comfort zone. You can really discover yourself, your personality traits, which you didn't even know it was existed. Like how it was in my case. Life is a journey. Take it as a challenge and move forward. The brain science, we should not underestimate the benefit of living in a new place. The brain science has shown us that forming new experiences forms our brain new connections. And those connections are really serious, and the benefits are really serious to maintaining our cognitive function and putting off the effect of aging on the brain. These are the effects and these are the push which were really required for me to push it, to come here, to explore new things, to become a better version of myself. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ghanshyam. You're all over. So how many of you witnessed his first speech? Yes. He was fumbling, he was halfway, and he couldn't speak at all. I think he continued, right? So can you see the transformation, what he has reached today?
Yes.
It's all because of this particular platform. Just especially for the guests who want to know what is Toastmaster, this is the success story. Yeah. Thank you so much, Ghanshyam. Yes. So voting link has been shared in the WhatsApp group, and the password key is all small letters KEY. Password is key, all in small letters KEY. Done all? Yes. So let's take a quick 5 minutes networking break and we gather in 5 minutes. Right? Exactly 5 minutes from now. Yeah? Thank you. Not 3 minutes.
Today is the day for Bangalore. Nothing is continuous. No tax. All small. You're a newcomer? Yes? You came here for the first time? Second time? You came last week? Yes. Oh, I didn't see you last time because I wasn't there. I'm the VP membership. I'd love to talk to you afterwards. After the meeting is over. Body language. You see the boy now, he gave a speech. He was not able to give his first speech. This is only his second speech. First speech he fumbled and he got down and left. This is this boy. He's a brave boy. Time is getting us now. Suddenly timer, direct timer. Sure. Something please. 10 minutes, please. 5 minutes. I'll just check with him. Call him. Time is up. You tell him only 1 minute more. Tell him. 1 minute. Only 1 minute more. Yes. Is there? Come, we'll see you later. We'll take it, I've got something for you. I'll see you later.
Toastmaster guests, good evening once again. Good evening. Could you please come inside? Let's start the second important segment of this evening. It's all about spontaneous speaking, impromptu speaking, table topics, whatever you call. And to play this important role, we have a gentleman amongst us. He is a very meticulous Toastmaster. He comes to almost all the meeting events and always looks for a better version of himself. And one important thing is, he invests on his father's money. To know more about it, you can ask the gentleman who is going to come next. Please put your hands together to welcome on stage Toastmaster Gururaj.
topics. Are you all ready?
It's time you have to tell us.
Yes, ma'am, yes. Okay, let me begin by saying what table topic exactly is. Like Sir said, it's a chance for us to practice impromptu public speaking. Not just impromptu speaking, like speaking to someone, but impromptu public speaking. It's speaking in front of an audience in an organized manner with a goal. I know you didn't think there was supposed to be a goal here. It's not simply rumbling about just for a minute, but sometimes that's where all of us really are, and that's okay. The goal is to deliver a short, on-the-spot speech that comes across as organized and purposeful. The purpose could be simply to entertain your audience in some way. But it's more than just saying one word after the other, and yeah, it can be a task. But who's ready to jump in and give it a shot? You all ready?
Yes.
All right, then let's have fun. I think before that we'll just have a timer tell us the time. How much time we have? We have a minute, 1 or 2 minutes.
You can decide.
I can decide. Okay, I think. I think 1 minute is time that is being given to me right now. So yeah, so we'll have a minute. So 1 minute. Half a minute. 15 minutes. 15 minutes. Total, right? So 1 minute for each person. Yeah. So half a minute you get the yellow card. Green card. 45 seconds green card and 1 minute red card. So yeah.
1.5 minutes.
Oh, 1.5 minutes. Who is calling our first person? May I call Alan as our first?
Confusion. Is it 1 minute or 1
1.5?
Not that I speak so much.
1.5 minutes you get the red card. Right?
Half minute is over.
Okay, so your topic is the best way out is always through. The best way out is always through.
Actually, this topic is very much in line with what you experience in Toastmasters. When you come here as a guest, you're really, really scared. And you're actually looking to go out of the door until Robinson catches you and tells you, no, you just have to wait. You can't go through that door, but you'll have to go through something even more, challenging and tougher, but very, very rewarding. And being a guest, then you come for 3 meetings, then you see people, speaking and you get confident, right? So then one day in that burst of confidence, you join. But then after a point, you realize you have to take up roles as well. And then you realize that you'll have to speak as well. But the day that, just before you come to speak, you realize you just can't do it. And you feel that it's the end of the road and people are speaking so confidently, like Ghanshyam, for example, today. And you're like, how will I ever do that? But you take that first step. You come here, you speak. And that's when you realize that it's possible. And no one is here to put you down. And anything is possible. And if you really want to do it, you can go all the way through, and you'll be really thankful for Mr. Robinson one day.
I think I can relate with what he just said. I am also here trying my best to, be as good as any other good speaker. So yeah, the next topic. Knowledge is of no value unless you put it into practice. Knowledge is of no value unless you put it into practice. May I have a bear for this?
absolutely agree with the table topic master on the fact that knowledge is of no use until you put it to practice. So being the case that we always studied many concepts in school and college and many other places. There were many formulae that we memorized, many applications that we didn't know this formulae were about. So the simplest example that I could give you is how Newton's laws work when when a body is traveling in motion and there is some friction to stop it, only then it comes to a rest. Otherwise, the body will keep on rolling. And the best example of that we could think about is brakes. Right? Brakes, you apply friction to the wheel and the wheel stops the motion. So right from the formulae to the application. Now there are several things in between, right? So how much brake pressure should be applied? How much of distance is there for stopping? How sharp should the brakes be? Or how blunt? How can the bluntness affect the performance of the brakes? So on and so forth. So from the formulae to the application, there are 1,000 things in between, and that experience, coupled with the knowledge, is what will make life successful and applications really viable. Over to you.
Okay, so with that, I think we can move on to the next topic. That is, experience is simply the name we give our mistakes. Experience is simply the name we give our mistakes. For that, could I call Kamlesh?
When I heard table topics, then I was scratching my head. But you need not to scratch your head in the Bangalore Toastmasters Club. So experience is what makes a difference. And today I was interacting with one of the client, being in a consultant, and on the floor there is many of the consultants who was also there, and trying to give all the ideas, BTS, business, experience and technology. But one thing that we talked about, the experience from my industry and where I have worked. And that is really helped to understand that client better. And the client was Ultratech, is a bigger client, and trying to transform the user experience through the CRM. And that is what I can relate that wherever you go, I mean, your experience will definitely count. And that is makes a difference. So even if you don't know, but try to learn from the experiences of your own and also the experiences of others, so that you can connect the ability for any of the topics that you have given. And I think that is what I have learned, and the experience makes a difference wherever you go. Thank you.
Thank you, Kamlesh. Hope once you started speaking, you don't have to scratch your head. That is good. So the next topic is, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. I think everyone has heard this. So what's your take on this? When life gives you lemons, make lemonade. For this, can we have Rashi?
Good evening, everyone. So I'm Rashi, and my topic is, when life gives you lemonade, make lemonade. When life gives you lemonade, make lemonade. So I think it's very true, because if challenges are not put forward, then you will not enjoy life as much as you want to. So I will give you an example. When I want to go out and I have to ask my parents for it, it's the biggest challenge. The biggest challenge. First deciding, preparing, then going in front of your parents, standing in front of them. Can I please go out? Please, please, please. Convincing them for the 5th time that I will be back on time, I will finish all my work once I'm back. So unless I do all of those, I don't really have fun. So if I go out and my mom doesn't call me, I'm like, why did my mom call me? Does she not care? Is she not worried about me? So I think, that it is important for you to have challenges in your life.
Actually, I think we've all been through that phase where we stand in front of our parents convincing them to allow us to do whatever we want to. So yeah, with that, can we have the next topic, that is the best things in life are free. The best things in life are free. With this, can I call Priyanka?
The best things in life are free, but sadly the things that are free, we do not pay attention or give importance to it. Only unless we invest, we usually value that. Now that is something very strange, something that we need to probably introspect and realize. There are a lot of things through others' experience, through a lot of suggestions that we receive from a lot of people. We don't give it much of consideration until it actually storms us. And that is something which I feel we all need to give a thought and introspect. For example, the best. Who is this? Not sorry.
Thank you, Priyanka. Okay, I know my topics are going very abstract and it's not one related to the other, but that's how we're all, here to try, right? We want to try something different all the time. So the next is going to be a little simple. Let's see how the person takes it. How would you define success? How would you define success? That may I call Mr. Vijay sir.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and topic master. How do I define success? Success, many people think, is about running the rat race. What they don't realize is, even if they win the race, there will be rats. So, success is not just winning the rat race. Success is about how good you feel when you're doing everything with joy, with fun, with love. Success is not what is external. Success is what comes from inside. And when you talk of the thing coming from inside, it is the way you feel every moment, the way you enjoy life every moment. And coming to the topic called experience that we have today, it's trying to experience every moment, living every moment with fun, joy, love, and gratitude. And when we come to the end of our life, when we look back, you must say, yes, I don't regret what I did. I have lived my life king size, living every moment, celebrating it, because when you talk of the art of living, that's what it actually is. And so, that is actually what success really is. Thank you.
Mr. Vijay, hope all of us lives our life king size or queen size. The next topic, is it more important to love or be loved? Is it more important to love or be loved? So this can be called Puneet.
There's a very interesting question I read early on during my college times in a book, and it was about if you're in a relationship with somebody, how much of effort should you put in? How much do you think both of them should put in effort of? It's a question, ladies and gentlemen. boy and the girl, how much effort do you think they should put? Equal, okay? And yeah,
80-20.
80-20, okay. Who 80? Who 20? Will 80 guy 20? No, wait, I'll come to that. That's my point.
No effort.
No effort. Wait just a second. And the book pretty much laid out these and questioned each of them. And posited a very interesting theory that it has to be 100, 0. And I was like, why? And then the author really convincing that you have to put your 100% and expect 0% from the other person. And the first thing that a 19-year-old guy said was, what if she doesn't give anything back? What if she doesn't put any effort back? And it turns out that eventually the relationship will go out and she will make space for somebody else who will also return. So since then, I've always attempted to put 100% of my effort to love somebody.
If we all give 100% and love, rather than expect something back.
Your time is up.
The tabletop time is up. Okay.
7:38.
One more?
38.
Can we do one more?
I'm afraid we can't.
Thank you.
A funny oxymoron. The budget was unlimited, but I exceeded it. The topic. One minute, just 1 minute. The budget was unlimited, but I exceeded it. Yes. Go ahead.
Okay.
Just 1 minute. Sorry.
Alright, so yeah, the budget was unlimited, but I exceeded it. Right, so I have always been this person who believes in, who doesn't really believe in being in limitations or being put into any kind of limitations. I've always been the one who jumps over the fence and tries to stretch my boundaries. So I think being a person like that, I think I've always, I try to do it in the limit that you put me, you expect me to be within, but then I always
You really exceeded, okay? Thank you so much. All the students, give them an applause. Now it's time to audit the values of a club, how truthful we are towards the promises we keep. So to conduct this session, name of the session is Moments of Truth, MOT. To conduct this session, we have the current president of our club, Toastmaster Hannah Victoria.
A very good evening, my dear fellow Toastmasters, and yes,
Good evening.
we'll ensure that we stick to time with the moments of truth. The moments of truth, the link, the questionnaire was circulated earlier this week, and we did get quite a few who have responded, quite a few members. And out of the 36 parameters which we were asked to rate, 32 did overwhelmingly well, that is above 4 and 5. We can categorize the overwhelming response under these headings. First is the first impressions, very good, and membership orientation, excellent, membership strength, excellent, program planning and meeting organization was also excellent. There are 4 points, 4 parameters which got a rating of below 3 and below. So I will read out the 4 points and then we will discuss it one by one. Yes, each point we will stick to maximum 2 minutes for discussion. The committee will also will record all your suggestions and we will roll out the final minutes of the MOT. Now the first point is assessment of learning needs of members. The second one is inter-club events. Third is member recognition when new members are sponsored. And the fourth is progress chart of member education, of a member's education. So we'll start off with the first point, that is inter-club events. So I look forward to suggestions from you all as to how we could collaborate or have different kind of meetings with other clubs. So anyone, you can raise your hand and go forward. Yes. Okay. Linkers meet. Or yeah. Okay. Anything else?
You can have some kind of leader competitions like.
I think competition.
Competition.
Yes.
Between multiple players.
We can merge 2 clubs into 1 meeting.
The linkers meet. Yeah.
Can even have panel discussions with 2 clubs or 2 clubs.
Okay.
I think per competition
We can have. We've done it. Yes. Now, when you say panel discussion, it's on
We invite from those clubs, and we can always have a topic and we can speak about it, and members will definitely actually benefit from it.
any other points for inter-club events? Okay, we move on to the second, assessment of learning needs of members. So this is basically, I guess, what the parameter is, that whether we are understanding the members what they have joined, for what they have joined Toastmasters for, understanding that and then progressing. Any suggestions?
Perhaps the mentors, when the mentors are assigned, they can ask their mentees as to what their learning needs are, and then accordingly ensure that it's met. Because the mentor will always have more experience in the club, so that they are assigned. The first conversation would be that what are your goals in joining the Toastmaster Club, and accordingly guide them.
Yes, Amish.
I think when the member join the club, I think we should get to know their skill, their assessment. What is the level of their communication and where they want to go. So that this is first-hand information we would get, and then we can plan with the BP education to how we can improve those the level of communication or skills what they have.
This is in the form of what, like a questionnaire or like a
No, I
one?
think this is a session that where at the beginning of when the member joins the club, we should do the assessment. So there is an assessment form we can give. What is how they rate their skills, let's say, in communication, their presentation, or your impromptu speech. So once assessment is done, then we can think of how to improve upon.
Kamlesh is into consultants. You make the questionnaire, Kamlesh.
You make the question.
You make the questionnaire. You make the. He is into now top end consulting. All this. No. Give the questionnaire. Give the question. Give him a timeline, Hannah, to give the question.
Kamesh will help definitely. Yes.
I just have a question.
Okay.
Does not Toastmasters have any kind of this format?
That's the filling a questionnaire is very subjective. I might think I'm good at something when I may not be good at that. It's the mentors, you have to see their speeches first and then decide.
Jeevan and Aditya, you can go in any order you want.
So I think when we join the Toastmasters, the portal takes assessment. Make sure to do that. If any new members comes, the assessment helps us to do the end goal. So we do practice of doing that. Either vice president education takes the responsibility of helping to complete the assessment. Once the assessment is complete,
answers, the EXCOM will not
do it.
No, that is how authentic that person is.
Yes.
So, one thing that I have to request is, while it is a mentor's responsibility to guide an individual, what we can actually instead make is a periodic reconciliation in the form of a very small Google form, which can be made available by the PT education to individual people, and we can request everybody to fill it without fail at the end of every month. And what this single questionnaire can instead do is, you can track month-on-month progress, and PT education get the single source of truth.
How many of us fill these forms?
No, so that depends on the individual. Since you have rated it below 3, so then if we roll out what we can do, it's up to them. It's up to the members. If they're serious, they would do it. They're not. It's an individual thing. Last question.
I'm personally thinking, although the assessment is self-assessment, most of us don't know where we stand and do a self-assessment. So if we make an objective diagnostic test in English or whatever, and so people can understand objectively where they stand in the English language usage, and they can take a test again and see where they have moved forward. So in addition to public speaking skills in the English language communication usage essentially, I can help you with the diagnosis.
Yes, okay.
So don't you think TOEFL and IELTS is enough for that? TOEFL and IELTS is enough.
That's too much.
That's not too much, sir.
We move on.
Yes.
Nothing you can discuss it. Yeah.
I'm talking about customized diagnostic test which we take and we know objectively where we stand.
The third one is member recognition when new members are sponsored. So this is ideally, which means if you have recommended a new member.
This is Bangalore Toastmasters Club. The recommendation is not required.
Yes.
There are clubs which are really looking for the members.
Yes.
No, the sponsor would help, but our club, I'm not sure.
We can possibly mention it during the inductions.
Yes, okay. Any other suggestion? We move on to the fourth one. Progress chart of a member's education. Yes, Vijay.
Okay, so actually when you log in onto the portal, the PT education gets the progress chart which is individually based on pathways.
Yes.
So it's a very asking that we publish that particular progress chart. That can be downloaded on.
Sure. Anything else? Any other suggestion?
No, it's already available.
So we'll post it on the group. Anything else? Any other suggestions overall, generally?
One suggestion I have is because many of these things, it comes back to the committee.
Yes.
And the committee is already burdened with a lot of things. So possibly you can put it out and tell them want to really develop, and this one they need to reach out and proactively, get into this.
Okay.
That's, I think, better. Otherwise, everything will be done by the committee.
No, find out which is doable or not.
Yes.
It's very
Yeah.
important.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. So secretary has taken down all your suggestions, and the EXCOM will meet, and we will put forth the final whatever we can do, and the others, whoever individually, if in case the committee is not able to support, then individually depending on your interests, definitely PP education, PP membership, all of us are there to help you out in that particular segment, whichever you need help and support. Yes. So with that, we close the moments of truth, and we've conducted it. So over to the table.
We should congratulate Toastmasters, our Madam President Hannah, because in the history of Toastmasters, this is the first time I think MOT conducted in such a small span of time. Congratulations and all the very best. With that note, let's start the final segment of the meeting, this general evaluation. To conduct this, we have our ex-president, Toastmaster Vivek Vijayan.
For the guests who do not know what general evaluation is, the whole meeting gets evaluated. Otherwise, what happens is only three prepared speeches get evaluated. You do not get a feedback. So there seems to be a voting link for the table topics. You go ahead, and meanwhile I'll speak, listen, and still vote. All right. So for the guests here, how do you look at the whole meeting as a whole instead of just speeches? Because conducting a meeting itself takes a lot of effort. A meeting starts in the mind of in the brain of the Vice President Education at least 2 weeks back. This meeting would have germinated in the minds of the Vice President Education. Now, to put it in that perspective, it's very, very difficult as to what kind of combination of speakers should we have, and who should be the speakers. You cannot have repeated speakers every time. So all these thoughts have to go into. So that's what happens. And then there is a saying that good intentions do not work. Okay, good mechanisms do. So this is usually done when you develop software systems, to think that people will act in good faith, or think that they will safeguard the data, safeguard the secrets. Will not work. Intentionally or unintentionally, things start falling. So that is why you need to have good mechanisms. Now, what I like about the new mechanisms that the VPE has introduced is that the ruthless reimagination of the timer. Timer decides, make sure that the meeting ends. It's completely ruthless to the point that sometimes you might feel a bit uncomfortable, but that kind of a discomfort is needed for us to have a decent meeting. All right. So that having said that, let's go to the starting of this meeting. Although it was germinated 2 weeks back, all that we see here is what starts at 6:30. Most of you would not have noticed that the person who starts off the meeting is called Sergeant at Arms. Sergeant at Arms is a standby Sergeant at Arms. That person is not the regular Sergeant at Arms. Now there is a Sergeant at Arms for the guest is Logistics Manager. Now the Logistics Manager did not have the key to the key artifacts of the club, because that was taken by the original Logistics Manager. But none of us even came to know about it. That's the beauty of handling things without any fuss running around. It looked like a very normal meeting, unless I kind of poke my nose a bit too much as a general evaluator, just to poke in and say something. It was fine. Otherwise, it was perfectly all right. And that requires some amount of maturity, some amount of organization, and it comes with experience. It's a knowledge that comes with deliberate experience. You can keep on coming to this meeting and still ruin being the logistics manager and starting the meeting, but that did not happen. So that's really hands off. I commend the Sergeant at Arms in next you have the presiding officer. Presiding officer is also a standing presiding officer. Usually the president addresses the club. Now you have the standing presiding officer. The presiding officer comes in and notices that the meeting number is slightly wrong. It's the previous meeting number. Now, usually, you get a bit flustered. You're doing it for the first time. You want everything first time and probably the only time. Not every time you get a presiding officer's role to do. And your heart starts beating. What will the guests think? You're unprepared. What is the take a look at Sergeant Arms. What man, you didn't change it. No, nothing. I love the way Toastmaster Abhirama took a small piece of chart and corrected it, as if the routine seems so nice that you would feel that is what the president does every time. He declares the meeting order. It was that good. It takes more than experience to do this. Don't give me experience, whatever that is, about it. He is is not that experienced a Toastmaster. Experienced Toastmasters don't do this well. That is something which I can be very sure of in this case. I have been here, been there, done that a lot of time. I would not be able to do it. I get frustrated with such kind of things. Alright. Only thing is I have to nitpick Toastmaster Abhirama. The intro to the Toastmaster of the day was a bit too adjective loaded. Not necessary. You had a good story about Toastmaster of the day. That should have been enough instead of being adjective loaded. But that's coming from the experience. We see this adjective loaded introductions, and we also try to do that over and again. We should consciously avoid that. Having said that, let's move to the individual speakers. Let's bring in the first evaluator of the speaker. Toastmaster Vishwanath was Toastmaster Rajdeep Manmani.
Fellow Toastmasters, General Evaluator and Vishwanath in particular, today we are attempting your second speech in your Dynamic Leadership Manual, where you were trying to speak about getting a feedback on your speech. Now, what did you do extremely well about your speech today? So, since you spoke about management of time, I'm going to use the letters of the word time. I have not used an acronym for a long time, and I'm going to give you the feedback. So, the key was you were true to your theme. You stuck to the theme of team management, time management right from the beginning. You started off well and you tied it and you said you have time to do some things in life but not everything, and you have to prioritize your work, and you ended with that. So you were true to your theme. The I stands for the incident. You narrated an incident where you needed time management right from where your boss in 2016 took up mobile app development and how he said there was a lacuna in which you are managing time because you had so much of other things to do. So the incident and the theme were tied together. That was brilliant. But what do you have to improve? The M stands for your managerial jargon. Now remember, simplicity is the most ultimate sophistication. You use three very powerful jargon in your speech. One was ABCDE, then you use Pareto's principle, then you use BMW. Now whenever you are using jargon, try and simplify it. ABCDE. A is the most important task to be done. B is the little less task. You didn't elaborate it so well. So people who are not from a managerial background will find it difficult. Or Pareto's principle, 80% of your time is consumed by 20% of the irrelevant work. So that makes sense. Or when you're talking about BMW, your business, your management and your work package. So explain those managerial jargon properly. The E was for the energy. I feel you should have energy in your speech, especially when it's a topic like time management. You said, I bundled up my time. I could not have any time to do anything. But there was a solution. A, B, C, D, E. Even if it is not called for, learn from Ayyappa. Just shout. Correct? Simply shout and make the audience respond to your energy. Because when your energy is there on the speech with your vocal variety, it carries the speech through. So to end, let me tell you 3 lines. 1. Today, Vishwanath, you took us through a brilliant expenditure of how to utilize your time. But with your energy, you could make your speech tangy like chili and lime. But for your experience and for your dedication, you will move very soon from a novice to a prime. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Rajdeep Manmani. We always have something to take away whenever Rajdeep Manmani does an evaluation. And I agree with him, Toastmaster Vishwanath. Too many techniques does not go into your head. If you had just stopped at ABCDE, it would have been nice. That's what I felt. Anyway, let's go to the next speaker. Next speaker was Toastmaster Raghavendra, evaluated by Toastmaster Kalpundri.
G and our target speaker, Raghavendra, and all of you, good evening. Good evening. So today, Raghavendra was attempting level 3 project 1 speech from presentation mastery. We recently celebrated September 5th as a Teachers' Day. And we all know how much important teachers play in our life. And the parents are our first teachers. And this topic, what Toastmaster Raghavendra was speaking, was so much relevant to all of us. We all had to relate to that topic in some way or other way, where we have personally experienced it or have seen our parents experiencing it. So parents are the first teachers who always guide us and always back the kid in making decisions, because they are there with them for all throughout the life. So what did Toastmaster Raghavendra did very well today as a part of his speech? It was a well-organized speech. So he had a chronological order representing the speech, wherein which he told how he had come to the city of dreams and how it has transformed him. And that's what brings him so confident about this topic, because that has transformed his life, how it actually shaped his life. So we could hear it all throughout his speech. Second, he appealed us to the emotions, where he told us how parents are confused and how he engaged with the confrontation with kid, and how there was a lot of restriction at home from the mother's side and how he overcame it. So there was a lot of emotional element to it. The third one was, what I actually liked is there is sprinkling of humor throughout his speech. He brought in, though it was a serious topic, he sprinkled humor so that it becomes light and connectable. Next, it has a lot of personal element. Whenever we bring a personal element to any of the speech, we need not remember the points of it, it just flows through it. But having said that, what are the few work areas which you can think of it? There was a rapid movement on stage, like whenever you're transitioning between the different aspects of the speech. So sometimes that rapid movement on the stage sorts of distracts people. And when you're moving across the stage, your eye contact basically goes down, you don't make an eye contact with the people. So that was some points which I could do. If you want to challenge yourself, take this speech to the next level, you can minimize the number of instances of what you say and focus on the point what you want to deliver. It can be the sense to common sense to how you can guide. Like those 3 points what you mentioned, listening and playing with the kid and engaging with the child at a different level. These are 3 points which you can focus on and minimize the number of incidents. The speech will be of next level. Having said that, the speech was excellent, relatable, and we all have a lot of things to take. In the end, I can only say, in this society, it's always children plus parent plus teacher. The successful society is all about. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Vijay Kalkundri. That was a neat evaluation, and I like the attention that he pays to subtle details and the easy things that you can take away and improve in your speech. Toastmaster Raghavendra, I must say you are a great storyteller. I was glued onto that from Gulbarga to Bangalore and so on. It was very nice. Next speech was by Toastmaster Ghanshyam, being evaluated by Toastmaster Arun.
A couple of speeches about relocating to the dream city of Bangalore today. Ghanshyam's was another. Ghanshyam, an excellent effort. Let me evaluate his speech in 2 facets, the content and the delivery. Now, as far as the content was concerned, you started off with a question. It's a well-known technique to have a script. Had a couple of questions that had the attention, and the question was very pertinent to the topic. It was, you asked us how have you relocated, and that was very pertinent question to what was to follow. That was well done. And throughout the speech, it was a personal story. You talked about your hassles as far as relocation is concerned. You talked about how your family fared. You talked about how your mother and your brother and sister had slightly contrasting opinions about your relocation and how you overcame that. And once you relocated to Bangalore, what were the changes that came about in your life and how you handled all of them? So it was a very personal story throughout and connected well. And towards the end of that speech, you also had a message saying how the experience how new experiences in our life transform us in terms of stopping our brain from aging. So that was a scientific connect to the entire personal story as well. So all that was well done. Now, if I were to move to the delivery, I think from the first speech, like I must say he took words from my mouth when he said from the first speech that you made to the present speech that you're making, there is a transformation. You're extremely confident. There is a constant smile on your face when you give the speech. So from a delivery perspective, it was very well done. And the gestures were very apt. You used the stage okay as well. So those are improvements that I see from the first speech. And there were great pauses as well in your speech. So the pauses were very apt. And these aspects, as far as delivery were concerned, stood out for me. Now, how can you take the speech to the next level? The first aspect, Ghanshyam, was time. You took about 4 minutes, 38 seconds when I inquired the timer. And that means that you had about 2.5 minutes left, which means there was a lot of content that we could have spoken in those 2.5 minutes. As far as content is concerned, again, while initially you did well to bring the personal story, after you went to the part where you had the message about brain science and aging, I felt you were a little flustered and nervous. Now, I don't know if the content was the reason for that, or was it the other way around? Was it because you're nervous that you were not able to deliver the content? So you can work a little on that. I think you also mentioned that there were positives 1, 2, and 3, and also negatives in your speech. Now, when you spoke, I could just hear the positives. I would not have bothered about it if you said there were no negatives, but you said there are both positives and negatives, so I was also waiting to hear the negatives. So that's another suggestion. All in all, if the purpose of the speech was to deliver a well-written speech, I think whatever we heard today was extremely well-written. And if the purpose again was to talk about relocation, that was again very well done. So congratulations on your speech, and I look forward to hearing more from you.
Thanks so much, Toastmaster Alok, for a neat evaluation. Only a thoughtful evaluator will really be able to pick the whole point that there were sufficient pauses. So that's usually you will get to know that the speech was very good, but you will not know why the speech was good. The speech was sometimes good because of the pauses, and it needs experience and a lot of thoughtfulness to get there. Thanks so much, Toastmaster Alok and Toastmaster Ghanshyam. You're a very nice storyteller with storytelling for subtle aspects. That shut, that's very nice. Shut just went in, fell in the corner of the room. So it was very nice. So now let's come to the Toastmaster of the day. Toastmaster of the day is experienced. He is a performer on the stage. So the kind of things that what he was able to do here is not just Toastmasters, it's a combination of Toastmasters plus as a dramatist that he does. And what I really like from Toastmaster Ayyappa is the twist, because every time you have the Toastmaster of the day come in and introduce who founded Toastmasters, then that's like you just sit, Toastmasters, now it comes, and it's a regular thing. No, this is just, I thought what's wrong with him? He says Toastmaster Robinson D'Souza founded the Toastmasters International. I thought something is wrong with him. What is wrong? Then it was intentional. When you make an intentional mistake, you draw the attention of people. That was very nice, very clever way of doing it. Yet another clever way of doing it was, of course, Alexa. I thought it would speak. Then you have the Alexa coming from somewhere, but only point with Alexa was that Alexa, as usual, the way we do it at homes, right? We play it in one corner. It will sort of make some noise from one corner. Unless you connect to a speaker, it doesn't really echo. So you should have made the Alexa sit somewhere here or something of that sort. Then it would have, otherwise it was Alexa was coming from somewhere. But that is okay. Next time, Alexa, please come and sit here, somewhere in the front, if you can sit there. And then I think the tag team was, according to our new structure that he has made, the tag team is not supposed to introduce themselves. You are supposed to, the Toastmaster today is supposed to tell what the tag team does. But that's okay. That's a small omission. That is perfectly all right. Now we'll go to, now let us go to Table Topics Master. Table Topics Master, you are doing for the first time. But so you have a friendly and affable nature. So you don't really get scared. Although the topics were a bit lengthy, you don't really get scared. What will I do? If you are making a stern face, then it becomes a bit more difficult for the participants who already have almost a 170 by 110 kind of a BP running. But that's fine. So, but one thing that Toastmaster Gururat that you should notice is that you cannot introduce what table topics is by looking into a text and reading it and being unsure about it. You can't do that. You'll have to be fast. You'll have to mug up what you're trying to tell that. You can't. And then there is a saying that in a village where a lady does not have a mother-in-law, the whole village becomes a mother-in-law. So likewise, if you are not sure about the timer, everybody becomes the timer. It starts telling 1 minute, 1.5. It's like some kind of an auction that was going on for a long period of time. You can't really get to that extent. You will have to, if it is 1 minute, stick to your 1 minute. You are the leader here. You are executing the program. You cannot be asking everybody for a consensus on what the timing is. No, that's not done. So just we can reinvent all over the game here. I would strongly suggest that table topics master, whoever wants to become a table topics master, to observe good table topics master here and then come and act. You can't make mistake here over and over again. So that's not done. So having said that, let me just go to the tag team. Let me now invite Toastmaster Sureka ma'am to give the timer.
Good evening Toastmasters. Today once again I came with a killer instinct. But what to do? Your willpower won over. Today time and self-discipline again were the best of buddies. And they kept me from being the bully I so desperately wanted to be. Today the clock and the speakers happily walked hand in hand with each other. Focus was directed, everyone was dedicated, and timelines were respected. Everyone was punctilious. Now that was really ridiculous, and it borders on the miraculous. Thank you very much.
Toastmaster Sureka is our timer. I look forward to the poems more than the real timer. Anyway, so the next, can I invite Toastmaster Vishal, the art counter? Dasni, sorry.
Toastmaster Raghavendra, Toastmaster Kancha, Toastmaster Abhay, Toastmaster Kamlesh, Toastmaster Rashi, Toastmaster Puneet, not Toastmaster Puneet, Toastmaster Hannah, Toastmaster Vivek, DTM Rajdeep, Toastmaster Vijay Kalpantri, Toastmaster Alok Sinha. Can we have a big round of applause? I'm sure the others can do much better. Bangalore Toastmasters is conscientious and providing help to all its members and guests. Thank you and over to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Nazneen. I'm sorry for that taking of me. Toastmaster Nazneen, I must tell you, general evaluator is infallible. You cannot take his name here for even good or bad things. I'm just kidding. All right. Let me now invite Toastmaster Sachin to give his grammarian report.
Good evening. So, today, the good words usage, excellent, vocabulary, excellent. You can always watch on YouTube. And the rules of grammar, I'll come to the main rules of grammar. Whether and if are redundant. You either use whether or if. The usage of which should always refer to a noun. Like is only used to compare nouns. I told us previously. For example, like Sachin, Sureka ma'am also loves to cook food. So like is only used to compare nouns. And the reason why, again, it's redundant. You can only use the reason or why. Always connect to independent clauses with a conjunction. Basically, what, that, which,
by PM Vishwanath, not only Sachin talks food, but also make desserts. So it was a very interesting usage of idioms. And also attribute X to Y. Attribute always go with to. That is the idiom usage for attribute. From there, instead of using from there, you can always use since then, because from there doesn't make sense. My sister scolded me. My sister scolded me, it's enough. My sister had scolded me. No, you don't want to use past tense. You don't have to use present perfect past tense. You can use simple past tense. And those checks make stronger, not makes stronger. So make SVA errors, again, subject verb agreements errors. So the word of the day, it was not used. Apart from it, that's my report.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sachin Iyengar. We had a Toastmaster who was a professor of English, called Toastmaster Jayashree Iyengar, whose report used to, after a long time, we had a grammarian really knowing beyond what do I know? I know just noun, verb, and past participle. Oh God, yeah. Let's get it. Thank you so much, Sachin, for bringing that to the club. That's what happens when you have when you come to a heterogeneous club like Bangalore Toastmasters Club. You have people from all walks of life who come and enrich the club. All right. So I think we had a really good meeting today, and the moments of truth is not something which I need to evaluate as a general evaluator. So I wouldn't go into that. But let me ask one thing. Can I have a raise of hands of members, not guests, members who came here but did not get to speak on stage? How many of you? Can you please raise your hands? All right. That's the real moment of truth. You go to a swimming club. Can you go to a swimming club, sit, watch, and go back? No. You'll have to at least put your toes into the water. You go to a reading club, book club, you cannot sit there without participating. We cannot be an exception. Come here, if people are coming for public speaking, they will have to get on the stage. So much so that Toastmaster Richard D'Souza sir, he comes with much more difficulty than most of us have. If he does not get on the stage or gets to speak, I think we do not have to conduct moments of truth. We fix that and then conduct moments of truth. Otherwise, it is just a ritual that we're conducting. Sorry for the very strong words. Thank you so much. I think we have enough time today. We are 10 minutes ahead, and we could have really distributed it among the members who could not speak. But that's besides the point. Thank you so much. Back to Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vivek. Let's give Toastmaster Vivek and all the evaluators a good round of applause. Okay, something really dawned on me. The knowledge begins with experience. A lot of confusion in the beginning. Right? Now, having said that, I can resist everything but this particular platform. Because this is where, if you don't utilize this platform, if you don't come off of this platform, our brain literally rusts from public speaking. So thank you so much for the executive committee for giving the opportunity. And with that note, I will hand it over to the president, presiding officer.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ayappa, for taking us all through the meeting. Let us give Toastmaster Ayappa another big round of applause. So members, the voting links are shared on the WhatsApp group for tag team player, role taker and evaluator. Please take 25 more seconds to vote for the people. since we have 9 more minutes to wind up, I thought I should give some table topics to the people who could not come on stage and speak. So the first table topic is the theme itself. Knowledge begins with experience. May I request Toastmaster Richard D'Souza to please speak.
Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters, and distinguished guests. I would say knowledge and experience. Different kinds of jobs are there. Some, they are of routine nature, like cooking, which you do. And there are certain jobs which require specialized skills. Today's technocrats, they do the job by learning new and new techniques which are evolving in the world. For them, we can't restrict that you should have experience, because it's a new concept which is learned by them, which they are practicing. On the other side, like a carpenter, he does the work regularly in the same way. He fixes the door in a fixed way. For him, experience itself is taken forward. It gives him inputs about his job. And here, it exactly depends upon the nature of job one does. For some, experience is important. For others, skills are different. Skills are very important. Over to the
I'll give one more topic. The speaker will have 1 minute. Does money rule the world? Toastmaster Aishwarya.
Good evening, everybody. I believe yes, it does rule the world. Everybody is here to make money. They will make money, and they will want to rule the world. If not world, they will want to rule their own world. Like everybody wants to be dominating. Everybody wants to be taken control of. Wants to be in charge of what they want to do. And sometimes they do things. I'm sorry. Yeah, so if you do not have the control over your own needs and things like that, you will not rule even your own house. You are somebody who is just, who you're not a strong part of that place anymore if you do not have money. So yes, money rules the world.
I'll give one more topic. This is to DTM Sumitra Manmohan. The topic is, where do you find your inspiration? Where do you find your inspiration?
Thank you, Abhirama, for that topic. Where do I find my inspiration? Having been a trainer and a coach for so many years, I feel I get my inspiration from my trainees and my students, because sometimes, most of the times, it depends on the questions they ask you. And that is what triggers your interest. And of course, being a Toastmaster, I know how to escape it, but that sets me thinking, and that's how I start trying to learn whatever they have asked me. So I would say my inspiration comes from the people I try and make an impact on.
Thank you so much, Sumitra, for that. So we are coming to the end of this meeting, and let me recall the theme once again. Knowledge begins with experience. There are two words, right? Knowledge and experience. So we all know that the knowledge that we gain here at the Bangalore Toastmasters Club is priceless, right? But the experience comes at a price. Isn't it? Do you agree? The knowledge is priceless, but the experience comes at a price. So it's a gentle reminder for those of you who have still not paid the renewal fees. You can do it on Google Pay. It's on your fingertips. So please make the renewal fees at the earliest so that our Toastmaster Shashank, the treasurer, is happy. So that he can make the payments to the TMI at the earliest. Let's keep him happy. Don't ever, antagonize the treasurer. Okay? Yeah, that was it. Now I have the results. So we will give away 5 awards today. The first award is to the new grammar Nazi of the club, the best tag team player. The next award goes to the best role taker, as the TMOD rightly said, the Chanakya of our club, Toastmaster Vivek Vijay. Well, when he evaluates, he has to get the award. So the best evaluator award goes to DTM Rajdeep Marwani. The best table topic speaker is the person who gave us a master class on success in 1.5 minutes. Toastmaster Vijay Sai. Coming to the best speaker, any guesses? Well, the best speaker award goes to this person who is extremely homesick and somehow managed to relocate to his dreamland Bangalore. So that's Toastmaster Ghanshyam. Thank you so much to all the role takers, the speakers, and the guests who have attended this meeting. After the meeting, we'll have snacks served by our member, Toastmaster Surekha ma'am. We thank her for providing us snacks week after week after week. She's doing the unthinkable, I must say. So guests, you can always reach out to us if you have any questions. So it's a networking opportunity for all of us. So please reach out to us. With that, I adjourn 1342nd meeting of Bangalore Toastmasters Club.